I am retiring today, and I want everyone to know how much I appreciate the support.
So 2 weeks after sexual harassment allegations, Congressman John Conyers, as of tonight, is out. He served 52 years in the House of Representatives, close to an all-time record. He's the third longest serving member in United States history. But he is hardly the only one who has made a career out of Congress. The men and women that you see on this list, all 70 of them, have been serving consecutive terms in the U.S. House for at least 20 years, some of them much more than that. And that doesn't even include the Senate. So why do we allow elected officials to become so entrenched in Washington? And does that lead to the deepening of the so-called swamp? That's our question for Katie Pavlich, news editor at townhall.com and a Fox News contributor, and Wendy Osefo, professor and political commentator. Wendy and Katie, great to see both of you tonight.
You too.
Obviously, all of the people that we just put up on that wall, they get elected over and over, but it does raise the question of whether or not, how long is too long, Katie?
Well, I don't think the Founding Fathers ever intended for Congress or in the House or the Senate to be a career. Public service should have a meaning outside of coming to Washington, D.C. and turning what we call the swamp into more of a jacuzzi, getting comfortable. And if you look at the list that you just had up on the big board, there are a number of congressmen and women on that list who have been the subjects of ethics and violation investigations, including Maxine Waters, who has been there for a very long time. And so now that we see Representative Conyers resigning, yes, he did some good things in his career, but the fact that he now wants his son to step in and continue his legacy really is quite rich since he's been there for so long. Yeah,
I mean, it's a very reliable Democratic district where he serves in Michigan, and his son probably has a very good shot at taking over. Does that smack of a dynasty? And should they be able to do that, Wendy?
No, I don't think they should be able to do that, and I don't think that the Founding Fathers either wanted this to be a career, and I also don't think they wanted our elected officials to pay for sexual harassment claims without tax dollars. And quite frankly, him appointing or coordinating his son as the next successor was really an eyebrow raiser, because for me, I would have thought that his great nephew, Ian Conyers, would have been the person who he named as he's a rising star in the Democratic Party. But what's really interesting here and what has been overlooked is how, for me, Conyers has been cannibalized by the Democratic Party. And there has been this level of inequity when it comes to what has happened. I am not a fan of sexual assault by any means, but whether it's Al Franken with the photographic evidence, we have Roy Moore, we have Donald Trump, why is there not an outcry for all of these people to step down as well? And let's be honest here, often the Democrats say that the Republicans don't have a heart. Well, to be quite honest, the Democrats lack a spine here. We have to start sticking up for those individuals, or we say all people need to resign, not just one. And, I'm just being honest with that.
Yeah, I mean, there have been double standards on both sides of the aisle, but also double standards on the same side of the aisle when it comes to equal treatment. I guess you could say there are differences between Senator Al Franken in a Senate seat than there would be with a House seat. And of course, this all comes down to how much power each party is willing to give up. And the Senate might not be willing to give up a seat in terms of Franken's seat, whereas a House seat is a lot easier to replace. So there is a double standard. There are case-by-case instances that have to be looked at in terms of the extreme nature of allegations that are taken. And this was Representative Conyers making this call on his own after being called on to resign. And we've heard a lot about how voters are the ones who have to make that decision.
Well, they will continue to do that, too. Thank you very much. We've got to leave it there.
Thanks,
good to see you both tonight.
See ya.
So coming up next, President Trump is